What's going on, you guys? It's your boy, Cozy, coming at you with a brand new deck tech video. This time, spicing it up. We're doing an OP16 version 1 of my main man himself. Something that I really wanted to play when I first saw it released and announced is going to be OP16 Purple Sengoku, who is a 5,005 life monocolored leader with one simple effect. Activate main. Return 8 active Dawn to the Dawn deck and play up to 3 different Admirals from your hand for free. And man, I gotta tell you, like, it's insane that you can play 21 Dawn worth of value for as little Dawn as possible once we start going into this list. Now, a couple of announcements that I do want to make. First, if you like this leader, I actually have it online on the store page, linked down in the description below, because your boy's got merch now. He's got shirts, custom cards, he's got proxies up, he's got everything. Go ahead and check it out in the description if you want to pick up some stuff, especially getting ready for OP16. Additionally, if you like this leader, go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so, because I appreciate the love and I'm trying to build this community, as I have now officially moved to South Texas, and I am bringing South Texas pride into our videos going forward. So basically what we're going to do is the same thing with all of our deck tech videos. We're going to go over the 2Ks that I'm running. We're going to look at the characters that I'm playing and see what the events and stages, if I'm running any, are going to be on this list. So we're going to go ahead and hop into our little hook, spiel, everything like that, and I'll catch you guys in our 2Ks. All right, welcome back to our 2K list. So do keep in mind, this was before the search event and the stage and all of that stuff was announced. So this is literally our version 1 that you're going to be seeing some videos coming up in the next few days of Purple Sengoku taking on other leaders from OP15 and EB04, just so that way you can kind of see how the deck plays. This is my version 1. This is not going to be my final list. I do have another list that will be coming out here pretty soon with different things that I've tried and things like that. So without further ado, let's hop into our 2K list. First, we have 4 copies of Suru from OP15, who has the on-play effect of looking at the top 5 cards of the deck, revealing a Navy type card, and adding it to our hand, placing the rest at the bottom, and then trashing 1 card from our hand after that. I think it's a really good searcher to play out as a one of, especially if you don't have the other searching event, or Kobe if you are running both, which I most likely will be. And just really a solid 2K overall as well. It's super cheap to play. It's a really good 2K body. Overall, I think Suru is a very good fit for the deck. Once you see it in version 2, you should see this ratio possibly change. But for right now, 4 of is what I am running. A little bit of spice that I'm also running is OP08's Black Maria as a 2K option as well as a good ramp card option, especially because Sengoku minuses so much Dawn during his turn. Having the Black Maria out as a kind of safeguard to that, just so we can ramp back up to 10 Dawn and not really sacrifice anything, I felt was a really good option here. Her activate main once per turn is we get to add 5 rested Dawn to our field from the Dawn deck. And the only caveat is we got to minus our Dawn back to whatever our opponent's at. But when we're playing at 8, most likely we're going to go to 6 if our opponent doesn't ramp just as much as we do. And ultimately, Black Maria is going to help us get back to where we need to. We can use some of that Dawn as well to Dawn minus for other effects. We can use it to restand other Dawn. We can do it for a whole plethora of things. And really finding that middle ground where Black Maria really shines through is something that I thoroughly enjoyed when playing it. Next, we have 4 copies of our boy Usohachi from the starter deck. Now, this one I kind of am a little iffy on, to be entirely honest with you, from the first version of the list. I like the idea of it. If I don't have any Admirals in hand, I can at least threaten Admirals with the leader, but also using the Usohachi rest effect if we have 8 or more Dawn to rest any character with a cost of 5 or less on the opponent's side. Super strong. Or even if we have the Admirals and we don't want to use the Sengoku effect, still playing it out, resting a body, and using the Admirals to do anything that we can kind of think of going from there. I think Usohachi is a good fit for the first version of this list. I don't know if it's going to make the final cut, so that is just something to be mindful of. And then, of course, the last 2K I run, which is a total of 16 2Ks. This is the first time in my ever lists that I've done a 16 2K in an entire deck. I feel it's a little overkill, so we may be swapping some ratios out, but it felt very, very healthy for this deck to be super defensive on the turns that it needs to be. And so with Sengoku, we have our on-play effect of if our leader is the Navy type, which he is, we get to add up to 2 Dawn from our Dawn deck and set them as rested. Then we draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from our hand for additional filtering to try to find hopefully the Admirals or some additional answers that we can try to find later on in the game to really set ourselves up kind of like a toolboxy type of way. I like Sengoku in this particular list. The other option, of course, is like Garp and things like that. But again, changing ratios and seeing kind of how the deck plays out is something that I really want to explore. I love the concept of this deck, and I feel 16 2Ks is a little on the heavier side. But I saw a lot of great success with it in playtesting, and so we may just kind of change things around and see how everything looks. But 2K list done, knocked out. Let me go over our character list that we're actually running next though. So the first and foremost, we're running our 1-drop. Of course, it's going to be that 1-drop Kobe. He is a 1-cost, 2,000 power Navy type character with a 1K counter who has the on-play effect basically the same as Suru, a little bit better, where we get to look at the top 5 cards of the deck and reveal 1 Navy type card from it, place it in our hand, and place the rest at the bottom of the deck. So generic searcher for Navy, purple Navy cards, or really any Navy cards if somebody's running like a purple, I believe it's green-purple Isho, or is it green-black Isho? I don't remember off the top of my head. But any Navy leader that's purple can definitely take advantage of Kobe, especially if you're running a very heavy Navy package that could be in a different color. Next up, we run 4 copies of Bon Calais himself, well, herself, because I have the alt arts. Ultimately, the on-play effect of adding an active Dawn is just a really good ramp tool, but also kind of like a pseudo blocker for resources or just a big imposing threat when it comes to later in the game, because they're going to be playing bigger bodies. They're going to either target the Bon Calais with resources to get rid of it before that happens, or we get to swing with a very powerful character with their activate main of or when attacking effect, sorry, to where they get to copy any of our opponent's characters to really drive home a big swing. A single swing from this is very, very detrimental. That's why I kind of liked it in the list, and I kind of just pieced it together from there. I think Bon Calais in the final build will probably only run at 3, just because it's not searchable. It's a good 1K counter to have in hand, but I'd prefer to kind of see some more Navy stuff, some more stuff in the toolbox and things like that. Next up, we are running 4 copies of the Rosinante and Law, which is, by the way, searchable because it is a Navy and Don Quixote pirate. It is a 6-cost, 8,000 power blocker with no counter, but on play, if the number of our Dawn cards is equal to or less than our opponent's, then we get to draw 1 card, then add up to 1 Dawn from our Dawn deck and set as active. So it's an additional ramping option, especially later in the game. If we hit 6, our opponent's at 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 Dawn, then we get to ramp with the Law and Rosinante, and we get a heavy blocker and potential attacker as we go later in the game if we're really trying to push for lethal. Overall, I do like it because it is searchable with the Suru, it's searchable with Kobe, it's searchable with the events as well that we're going to be running in the version 2. When it comes to the ratio, I probably will cut it down a little bit, but again, in playtesting, I did see some great success. Now, these are the bread and butter of the entire deck. We're going to be going over each of the Admirals in their own separate kind of category, I would probably say what it is, but I really want to explain why it's super effective, especially looking at some things in the meta. The first one I do want to look at is the 4 copies of the 7-cost Kuzan. He has an on-play of add 2 Dawn from our Dawn deck as rested. And the activate main of Dawn -1 up to 1 of our opponent's characters cannot activate blocker during the turn. So, Ace, sorry bud, you're gonna get another donut inside you, but this time from the Iceman, not the Magma Man, because he's going to shut down your Newgate blockers. He's going to shut down your Marco blocker. He's going to kind of like that end game thing of, okay, let me Dawn -1. That character cannot use blocker, and really start pushing for lethal that way as well. The one that I thought was actually going to be a little weird, but I've kind of seen in playtesting that it's absolutely crazy, is 4 copies of Borsalino. Now with Borsalino, has the on-play effect of add 1 Dawn from our Dawn deck as rested, and then 1 is active from the Dawn deck. So it's ramping us 2 Dawn, as well as what the Kuzan does. So 2 and 4 Dawn already. So keep those numbers in mind. We're at 4 Dawn that we are going to be ramping off the on-plays alone. And then, of course, the end of turn, we can Dawn -2, and we restand the Borsalino and turn him into a blocker until the end of our opponent's next turn. So we can really put pressure on by swinging with Borsalino, going Dawn -2, which we're going to get the 2 Dawn back at the next turn anyway, restand him, and now we have an 8,000 power blocker, just like the Rosinante and Law, plus it's searchable with Kobe, with Suru, with the event, things like that. Sakazuki, I am running 4 copies of because you just need to. You need to run 4 copies of each of the Admirals in order to find them and to really utilize them. His on-play is a Dawn minus effect, so it's not a ramp, which is different from the other 2. But Dawn -1, we can give one of our opponent's characters -6,000 power until the end of our opponent's next turn, which is absolutely insane. We can shut down a big body threat by just playing the Sakazuki. He does have an activate main once per turn, where we can rest one of our Dawn cards. And if our leader is the Navy type, which he is, we get to add up to 2 Dawn from our Dawn deck as active. So that's where kind of like a pseudo ramp really takes place, because we're going to rest one of the Dawn that we probably get from the Borsalino if we were to play all of them at the same time. So we would rest the one we get Borsalino. We're going to ramp 2 more. So looking at the big picture of it all, right, is we're going to Sengoku, let's say we have 8 active Dawn, and that's all we have. So we go from 8 to 0, we go back to 2, 4, 6 Dawn. So for 2 Dawn now at this point, we now have 21 Dawn worth of character value on the board. And we really didn't lose much. We lost 2 Dawn, we lose a turn, gained 3 big bodies with crazy effects. So this is the main reason why I love the deck to begin with. Like, I saw that and I was like, dude, these Admirals got to be so strong. These Admirals are going to be busted, this, that, and the third. I know there's probably some videos already out. I know probably like Kardu Kaizoku has one going over the leaders already. And he probably is going to say like, not as strong as people think, or trying to like come up with an idea of like how it's going to fare in the meta. I feel like he's going to fare really, really well into the meta, and I'm really excited and I can't wait to see this video from him, because I love all his content first and foremost, but ultimately he really does kind of give you a general idea of like what people are playing in the sim and things like that. Hopefully the sim updates with OP16 so I can really start nailing down a final list for myself. I'm already working on a version 2, maybe a version 3 before OP16 releases in the middle of June, and we'll kind of go from there. But for the most part, this is what I'm working with. On to the events. I do run 2 copies of Divine Departure. I feel it's good, especially because a lot of our deck is very brick heavy. So we have 16 bricks just right here alone in our top end. And ultimately, the 2 Divine Departures can really help us out in a jam, especially if we need it, if we don't have the additional blocker support, or we just need that extra 3K power to get out of a bigger swing, especially with Sengoku only being a 5K. Next, I run 4 copies of the Mamaragan, which I feel is probably the best purple event that has come out since like maybe Godthread or Conquest of the Sea, just those removal purples. And if we're looking at just overall value, Mamaragan just blows them out of the water. This has been probably my favorite card in the set of OP15 because it's a Dawn -2, we can draw a card and rest one of our opponent's characters with 5,000 power or less. So we could do it that way, or we just pitch it to gain 1K power and draw a card. to kind of see what we can go through and dig through the deck a little bit more, because that's what this deck mostly fails on, is draw support. It's missing the draw power, it's missing finding your admirals and leading you into a line where you can just overwhelm them with overwhelming force and absolute justice. And then of course, me being cheeky, I did add 4 copies of It's to Die For. I felt the trigger was really good on it to where we can ramp a Dawn, but the ability to pay 3 to ramp 1, potentially 2, depending on the matchups you're playing. Like if you're playing Red Blue Ace as an example, right? And they play the Marco, for 3 Dawn, we gain 2 because Marco is a 6,000 power or 6,000 power character. So that really gets us into the ramp sequence, but it's also really good Divine Departure fodder as the game goes on, or even to hit the trigger to ramp a Dawn to really kind of unlock some of the potentials, like with the counter event that is already out for this list. This was, again, before I found the events and they were released by Bandai. So I'm really excited to see what version 2 looks like. We may end up cutting the It to Die For sure when it comes to adding the events in the stage. I will be playtesting it a little bit more, so be on the lookout for about another week or so, and I might do a version 2 just so that way we can kind of see what it's looking like. But for the most part, this is the building blocks of my OP16 Sengoku list. Check out the videos that are going to be on the channel. They will be against a lot of the OP15 and EB04 leaders and a lot of the bigger meta matchups from OP15 are going to be on the channel as I transition more away from the Jinbei into the Sengoku. We are going to be looking at the other leaders and kind of seeing how they fare as well in a meta analysis. And overall, let me know what you guys think about this. What changes would you make in this list? What kind of ideas were you thinking of if you were picking up Sengoku? I want to hear it all in the comments, man. I love responding to you guys. I respond to every comment that ever comes through the channel, and I am just more excited to announce that we're growing and we're building a community together. And I know you guys like these types of videos, but let me know by liking it, subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, and make sure you are sharing it out to everybody. And if you haven't joined our Discord yet, check the link down below as well in the description and come join the Cult of Cozy, where we're going to really start talking about OP16. We're going to be announcing new videos. We're going to be pushing ourselves to be the best community that we can in the One Piece card game. And it starts with you guys and it starts with me, but more importantly, we're going to do this together. So this is the list, and I hope you enjoyed it. Until then, I'll catch you in the next upload. Peace and love, y'all.
Thanks for riding with the vibe. Cozy games every time. Pulling leaders, making plays on the line. Sailing through the grand line. Strategy refined. Catch your next match, stay